Hello, this is SSCA, and I'd like to introduce your hosts and allow them to start streaming. Would you bring up your screens, Pietro?
Yeah. Ormai non va così, ok.
Okay, so we can start the quick presentation. So please, Renata, you can start the presentation. Non si sente. I suppose you are in mute, Renata.
Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming along to our webinar for Aquamap. So basically on this webinar, we will be touching upon a quick overview of what our website does, our latest releases, and our main product features. Obviously, at the end of the presentation, we will have a live demo where you can ask us any questions, and Claudio Bo, the CEO and founder of Aquamap, will answer your questions. We also have with us today Pietro Ferri, who is the marketing and communications manager, and myself, who is also part of the marketing communications team. So for those of you that are new to Aquamap and have joined our webinar, basically, Aquamap is an advanced marine navigation app for smartphones and tablets that feature up-to-date nautical charts. And all our cartography comes from official sources only. One of the main features that are involved in our app is marine forecast, IAS integration, Wi-Fi connections, and community-based data like Waterway Guide and Active Captain. You can find Aquamap on both iOS and Android. And of course, you have a 14-day free trial if you kind of want to test it out for a bit before making the plunge and using it fully. So if I suppose many of you know that this month we have made a big release, and we have launched our brand new user interface. That is a project that we've been working on for quite a few months now. So we're quite happy that it's finally on the market and you guys get to test it out and try it out. But we've basically simplified a bit the interface, made it a bit more modern, fresh. So we're quite happy with the outcome. We have also 2 new features that we have launched. One of them being Autopilot connection. For the moment, it is only available on iOS devices. Obviously, it's still in beta mode, so your feedback is really important to us now, and Android will follow shortly, but for the moment, it's just iOS. Lastly, Marine Forecast has added some new data to it: salinity, sea surface temperature, gust, and wave period. So on our demo here, Claudia's just showing you the overlay. Yeah. We fully understand and find it very important, the integration of both onboard devices and apps, marine mobile apps. But here we're just going to touch on kind of a few pros on a marine charts and marine apps to have with you on board. So first of all, one of the pros of having Aquamap is that it's quick to update. So all our cartography is updated weekly. This is mainly for US and Canada. Obviously, it depends on your location, but for USA, all our cartography is updated weekly. All the dates as well is updated weekly or regularly. It's cost effective. It's easy to take on board with you. You can share it on 5 devices. So if you can share it with your crew easily. Everyone has kind of the up-to-date information with them on hand. Easy to plan. You can use it online and offline. And just finally, one of the main features that we fully focus on at Aquamap is making the app as customizable and tailored for you. So as you can see here in the demo, there is a section where you can adjust the icon size, boat size, text size. So it's really important for you to adjust the app and make it as comfortable for you to navigate and to view the information. So this is something quite nice to have, and that most of our users really, really appreciate. So before I jump in and touch upon our main product features, I want to just say that our cartography is available in raster and vector format. And everything that we have on our app comes, like all the charts that we have on our app come from official sources. So nothing is altered by us and everything comes from official sources. So now to jump back into our product features, as many of you know, one of our main features that are used by our users that comes really in handy when you want to go off board is Anchor Link. So it lets you mirror the information that you have on another device. In this case, let's say your mobile device, you leave one on board, take one with you, and you can view what's happening to your boat. So it's quite easy and quite handy. If anything happens, you get email notifications or Telegram notifications alerting you if it's gone beyond its radius. Another quick and good tool is marine forecast. So as mentioned before, there is sea temperature, salinity. There is also a 40-hour slider. So you can predict 40 hours ahead of what's going to happen. Great for trips and pre-planning everything. One tool, one feature that not many people know about, but it's growing quite a lot in popularity with us is live sharing. So live sharing comes quite in handy. It can be quite useful, but you can connect with other boaters in your area that are also using Aquamap and have the live sharing feature active. You can send each other messages, share routes, or if you want to know what's happening in a specific area, it can come quite in handy for alerts as well. Next, we have Wi-Fi connection. So Wi-Fi connection lets you connect to your onboard instrumentation. For example, you can connect to your external GPS or integrate AAS data to kind of view other boats around you and kind of prevent collision detection and all of that. So it can come quite in handy. Another feature that we have that is quite crucial for those of you on the ICW is Route Explorer. So with Route Explorer, it gives you on the route that you've created, it gives you real-time information on bridges, hazards, fuel prices. So as you can see here, Claudia's displaying all the closest hazards and information that are found in your location. Okay. Lastly, for our exclusive US data that we have, this mainly focuses on local data. So we have more than 90,000 US Army Corps of Engineers surveys. It's very good to have for those of you going up the ICW this summer. Again, they're updated regularly, so everything that we're displaying now, you get regular updates. US Coast Guard information like light list and local notice to mariners, weekly NOAA chart updates, tides and currents, mile markers, so you have your geolocalized location on the waterway where you're found, and estuarine currents. Now for the live demo, here you can ask us any questions that you might have on Aquamap, and Claudia will happily answer them and show you on our app, kind of answering any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Okay, so just 1 second that I search for the chat. Pietro. Okay, no. I lost the chart. Just 1 second. Sorry. Okay. So we did a quick presentation of the app. Renata did a very good presentation. We try to show very quickly what we have for people that does not know us. So now we are opening for the question. So we prefer to let you ask what you want to know for the app. So I see that the first point is about the autopilot. Autopilot, as Renata said, is currently in beta. Anyway, when you have a connection enabled, you can simply enable this switch, and this will allow the application to not only receive the NMEA streams, but also to send back the sentences that are used by Autopilot to drive the bot. Obviously, you need to have a smart Autopilot so we can connect with your head unit and sending APB, RMB, and XT sentences. And then obviously your head unit will have to drive your system, your Autopilot system. To do the Autopilot management, you need to activate a route in Aqua. Like now we have here, this is in fact a track, not a route. But when you have a route active in Aqua, we automatically send all the necessary sentences to allow your bot to follow the route. Obviously, you have always to pay attention when using this functionality in waters like the intracoastal waterway or dangerous areas.
I've seen that the second question is about auto routing.
Oh, okay. Very simply, we do not have an auto routing functionality. We are studying, it's quite a long time that we are studying this functionality, and we are trying to come out with something that we consider safe, because we think auto routing could be from a certain extent quite dangerous. So at the moment, we prefer to give access to Bob 423 tracks in our app, so you can easily download them in our app. By the way, the track that you see here is exactly one of the Bob tracks. Then use our Route Explorer to get all the necessary info along the route. But at the moment, we do not have an automatic way to calculate route. So you have to do, let's say, in the old way, manually. Getting deep sync. I'm looking for the question that asks when with Bob tracks the iPad Pro keeps getting dim. No, it's not a known issue.
Anyway, for any kind of issues that you might have with the app, we are going to share our support email address in the chat, so you can email us to ask us everything you might need. I think it's better now to focus on information about the functionalities of the app and new features to show you in this live demo. If you have any kind of issues, you can email us.
Okay, the next question is how we integrate IIS messages. Again, this is come through our Wi-Fi connection. So substantially, you need to have a Wi-Fi bridge in your app that get the NMEA 0183 or NMEA 2000 stream and send it to the application through Wi-Fi. If this happens, then the app is able to receive, display IIS target, like this one is an AIS target. You can get the information for the bot, the app automatically calculates CPA and time to CPA, and you can also activate some alarm for collision avoidance, so giving your minimum allowed CPA, your time to CPA, and then decide which type of alarm you would have. So no alarm or a small beep or something more intrusive with a voice alarming it. And also you can decide what exactly to display on the map, which type of class, if you want to see different type of information on the map itself. Then there is a question about exporting route in Aquamap. To export something in Aquamap is very easy. You simply go in what you want to export, I don't know, and then you press this small icon. In this way, you can share the route in different way. You can upload on your Jack account, and then from your PC, you can manage it. You can share with the live sharing to other bots, or you can simply share in the system. In this case, you can select the format, and then you can use the way of sharing that is available on your device. So you can send an email with the attached file. You can send with AirDrop if you are in a Mac environment, or any other way. Then obviously it depends if your action is able to read the GPX or KMZ file. And I don't know honestly how you can bring the file inside your action, but if you have, for example, a SD card, you can probably move the data using a SD card.
I just want to say that we are displaying the app from a Mac device, so the sharing options are quite different from the sharing option that you can have using the app from a mobile device like iPhone or iPad, or just an Android device.
Okay, next question is about viewing crowdsourced bathymetry. I don't know if you refer to something like Sonar Chart from one of our competitor. The answer is no, we do not show crowdsourced bathymetry. We preferred to overlay to the app the US Army Corps of Engineers data. So these are this strange color that you see. These are information coming directly from the people that do the survey of the channels and do the dredging. So these are extremely updated information. We update each week the information, and in this way, you can have always the most up-to-date information, whereas in some cases, the crowdsourced bathymetry has a problem that when there is a shoaling, no one can go through the shoaling anyway, but in the crowdsourced, it remains that the shoaling you can go through because no one is going through. So, so it seems that in their area, no one gives the information that is dangerous now. So the crowdsourced bathymetry in some cases can bring to some problems. So we prefer to use more reliable data to be overlaid to the official charts. Next question. This is again about support for Samsung tablet. As Pietro said, I suggest that you write to our support. We are normally quite efficient in answering to any support question. So probably there is some problem on the device or on the app itself. So if you contact us, we can help you solve the problem.
This is Joan. I actually have a Samsung tablet. I don't have that issue. It might be the operating system type, or maybe a reload of the app. But if you need, but it didn't. I have it on successfully on that device. So hopefully Carol will have success with when you all talk with her. And I also have footage who would like to, has raised her hand. Can I allow her to talk? I'm going to allow, Bernice, I'm going to let you talk. And I'm going to mute myself and turn this back over to the team.
Okay, I've gone how to update to the current version. No, there is no cost to update. First of all, each time there is an update of the app, you can always update it without problem. Normally you update, you have not marked blank, you have not wrote on which device you are, but anyway, Android and iOS give you the possibility to update the app directly from the phone system, so there should not be problem. The only option that you can have problem in case you have a quite old device. In this case, at a certain point, you can no more update the app if you have a very old device. Otherwise, it's free and quite easy to do. Normally, as Rick Sander asked how to be sure you have the most recent update. Again, both Android and iOS give the option to automatically update the app, so the system can automatically keep the app updated for you. In case this is disabled, you have to do manually, and you have to go in the setting of your phone and check if you have the last version, and is the phone itself then give you this information.
You can just search for the app in the App Store, and if you display the update option, it means that you have not the latest, you don't have the latest version of the app, so you can update.
Then there is a question about Mediterranean, Red Sea, and Arabian Gulf charts. In Mediterranean area, we have Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Croatia. We are working to add Greece and Turkey. In the Red Sea and Arabian Gulf, I'm sorry, we do not have the chart at the moment. We have a chart for other part of the world, like Australia, New Zealand, UK, Germany, nearly the whole North Europe. We are just adding Sweden in this space, but unfortunately, we don't have at the moment chart for Red Sea and Arabian Gulf. For which IIS to Wi-Fi bridges do we support? We have, I'm sorry, I do not remember by memory, but we in our website, if you go in our support page for the Wi-Fi connection, you see a list of devices that we support. And at the same time, if you open the app, just one second, I can show you. When you open the app and you create a new connection, here you see the list of devices that have been tested with our app. Obviously, there are continuously new devices, and this is our always ongoing work. So there could be always someone missing, but here you have the list of the main devices that we are currently supporting. I'm not sure if Sandra understand the question.
I think it's just something related to the past question.
What weather data do you use? Which model? Okay, for the data, normally we are quite open what we use. In fact, if you go in our marine forecast, you see for each single data the model that we are using. So, for example, for surface current, we use depending on the area of the world different models, and for US we use a very detailed one that is only for unfortunately available for US, that also has detailed surface current for the estuary. These are quite detailed and continuously updated information that we feel could be really useful for people navigating in the US area. You have different way to display the information, okay, depending on what you need and what you are interested in. Yes. Okay. Robin Muller is asking about the Gulf Stream. Again, using the you can quite easily see the current of the Gulf. You see quite easily here, and this you can also, as already Renata said previously, make a simulation of the current on the next 40 hours. Okay, so I go to the store and do what? I think that the question was about updating. You go to the store and you search for Aquamap, okay? And when you find the app, you have a small button normally on the store that, depending if you already installed or not installed, you can see a small arrow indicating that you can update it. If instead you have the last one, you simply don't have any button to update it, but just to open the app. Jean Jacobsen. Okay, I'm sorry, but for the moment, and I'm quite sure not in the near future, Aquamap will not work on Windows PC. Aquamap works on Android and on iOS and on the last Mac, Apple Mac. So this one that I'm making this demo, this is the real app. It's not a demo version, but we are running on a Mac. So unfortunately, even if I know the Windows PC is quite common, for the moment we do not support it. What do some of the update includes? Quite a few, but update. Okay, updates. Frank, sorry for your pronunciation. Sinoviak is asking about what the update includes. We update all the cartography each week, and when they say update cartography, means that we take the information from, in this case, for the USA, from the NOAA, from the US Army Corps of Engineers, and from the US Coast Guard, and we update everything. So if there is a change on the bathymetry, we change bathymetry. If the change on the buoy, we change the buoy. Everything is updated weekly. By the way, the list of flights, so the information from the the Coast Guard is updated daily. Obviously, unfortunately, NOAA not always immediately update chart when there is some change, but for this, we hope that the US Army Corps of Engineers cover at least this problem. Okay. Okay, Roger Irwin, sorry, is asking about selecting among true wind and apparent wind. At the moment, it's not possible. The app always returns the true wind. This is an improvement that we have in our schedule, and I hope soon will be available. Is there a particular date time of each week? Yeah, normally updates are available Tuesday, Wednesday, because each Monday we start the update process, and normally it took us 2 or 3 days to update whatever has to be updated. So the charts are normally updated more or less each Tuesday or Wednesday. For the Coast Guard, these are updated daily. And for Arctic Captain Waterway Guide, again, these are updated daily by the provider itself. So it's Arctic Captain Waterway Guide that update their data hourly, in fact. Thanks, Rick Sanders. Robin Muller, assume you need a native internet connection to get live data like SourcePacker. Can I retrieve the data with Iridium? Okay, yes, you assume correctly. You need a native internet connection to get the information like surface current. These are live information, so we need to take live. I'm sorry, I'm not expert about Iridium Go, so I'm not sure how it works. But if at the end your device has an internet connection then the app is able to use it. So we substantially rely on the device connection to access the data. So if the device itself is able to access internet, then we can use it. Otherwise, unfortunately, we cannot use internet. Oh, Laura Wells asked if we are planning to port the app to Raymarine Action operating system. Well, no, meaning that this is not our choice. Substantially, this is Raymarine can do something like this. We were in contact in the past with Raymarine. We had some discussion with them also to not necessarily bring our app to Raymarine, but maybe allow them to use some of our functionality, like the US Army Corps of Engineer. But then this talking does not produce any real result. Okay.
Now, I've enabled the people who raise their hands. 2 people raised their hands. I enabled them to talk
Okay.
if they'd like to ask a question. That's Bernice, and there's a Bobby Wood. I think
Okay.
Louis Sotero is there as well. Let me bring him in. And Bob Utter, Bob is there. Bob Etter.
Va bene.
Vediamo questo.
Sì, sì.
I'll bring Louis in. I can bring him in as a panelist. So Louis, I just brought you in as a panelist. So anyway, Louis, did you have any questions? Do we have you? They may not be able to do it. I don't know where he's at. Or Bobby or Bernice.
Louis should just be able to unmute his mic and be able to speak.
Oh, hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hello.
I don't have any questions, but I certainly have opinions and comments that I would like to make, if that's okay.
Sure.
All right. So first of all, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Louis Soltero, and I'm the Predict Wind representative. I'm the developer of the Data Hub, which many of you may have. And I'm also an Aqua map enthusiast, as Claudio and Enrico and the group know, and use it extensively and do a lot of testing. And so my favorite feature I have to tell you about Aqua maps these days is over the horizon AIS. So this is a feature that is not well known in Aqua maps, but in Aqua maps, you can actually display AIS targets that come over satellite and are out to 300 nautical miles from your location. So that extends your AIS out very, very long distances, as Claudio's showing you right there. So I just happen to be cruising in the inland waterways of the US. My boat right now is in, let's see, Goose Pond, Alabama on the Tennessee River. I've never been here before, but I'm telling you that regular AIS only has a range of less than a mile here because the river is windy, you got big trees, you got big banks, and you have these really gigantic barges that are coming down the river. It takes about an hour and a half for one of those barges to lock through one of the locks, and you don't want to meet one on a corner. And so it's really good to know where they are. And over the horizon AIS has been truly remarkable on the river systems because it allows us to see these barges 50 miles away or 25 miles away as they're coming towards a lock, and we can plan our speeds accordingly so that we can get to a lock when they are not there. And then, of course, we know around the corner. I've got screenshots showing all of that, and it's just a fantastic feature that I think is underappreciated. It's new, I believe, in Aqua maps, in this release of Aqua maps, and it's a feature that I hope that all of you will get to test and enjoy. I've had users tell me that In the Bahamas, where the anchorages are so full, they use over the horizon AIS to see how many boats are in Georgetown or whatever anchorage or in the mooring fields to see if there's going to be a spot for them to anchor, and then determine what anchorages they're going to go to based on the AIS targets that are at those locations. So if you want to see long range AIS, this is a feature that I think is fantastic in Aqua Maps that is fairly new to this version.
Louis, how do you start up that version of AIS? Is it the regular AIS that you have, or how does that work?
So you turn on AIS, and then Aqua Maps will automatically detect that you have this coming towards you. And so this is available through the data hub. So basically the data hub is an internet to NMEA gateway. And so the data hub will download AIS targets from anywhere on the planet. It has access to the entire universe of AIS targets via satellite and other mechanisms, and then downloads those AIS targets over the internet through your Starlink or LTE connection, and then goes ahead and puts them onto your NMEA bus. Aqua Maps will automatically detect those and then display them appropriately on the chart.
No.
So
I don't know if Claudio can demonstrate. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if Claudio can demonstrate that, but if you go to the Wi-Fi settings, right at the bottom where it says AIS, you'll see, if you go to Wi-Fi connections.
Yeah,
right,
I mean,
right where it says AIS mobile station, right under there, it'll say AIS repeater station if you happen to have over the horizon AIS enabled on your network.
yeah, I mean, when we receive AIS stream, we are able to understand from which type of device is coming, and we show you the different sources as we do for other data. Also in the AIS case, is the only one in which we allow you to receive the same information from different sources. So in case of GPS, obviously you cannot receive GPS from different sources, but in case of AIS, we allow the app to receive the information for different type of sources.
So in other words, what happens, this is Joan. This gives me the same capability as if I had satellite on the boat and was connected like to marine traffic for the AIS signals, but you're pulling them from different sources and you're showing them on this. So all of a sudden, instead of having my line of sight with my VHF radio, which doesn't work all the time, and AIS falls out, you can populate from the bigger world, and you put a X number, a couple 100 miles or 100 miles or something near me. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, Joan is better than marine traffic. So you can go to marine traffic and you can see AIS for the entire world. But unless you pay AIS, you pay marine traffic the big bucks, you're not going to be able to see the satellite-based imagery and acquired AIS. So all of the Class A vessels, for example, transmit with more power, and the satellites are able to pick those up and actually make those available on the internet within a few minutes of latency. But typically marine traffic and other aggregators charge a lot of money for that. And so when you go to marine traffic and you look at a target that's out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that is coming in over AIS, the target that you're looking at is delayed, and the information about that target is not available unless you pay them a lot of money. With over the horizon AIS, that the targets that you get over satellite and over other land-based repeaters coming in over the internet look exactly like the targets that are coming in over VHF. And the information is only a few seconds to a few minutes old. So you get really, truly up-to-the-date information about all the ships that are around you out to 300 nautical miles from your location. And so again, back in the inland waterways, I can see a big gigantic tug with 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different barges attached to it coming down the river 25, 50 miles before I get to it, and can then at that point adjust my speed or make plans or call the guy on the radio if I can to discuss logistics about passing him or talking to the lock master about arriving prior or after that master has gone to the lock. So it works exactly like regular AIS, except that it's coming in from the internet and it includes all of the AIS acquired from all the land stations, all the mobile AIS repeater stations, and all the satellites as well.
Thank you, Louis. We'll turn it back over to the team. We have some more questions to answer.
I'm sorry, this is Steve Immerman with Not a Bite. I have a quick question about the AIS. Should we be getting names or strictly MMSI numbers?
So, I mean, I can answer that question since I've got a lot of experience using Aqua maps with AIS. So when you're receiving AIS over the airwaves, first of all, you'll get the MMSI and you get the position and updates very, very regularly. The static information containing the vessel name, the call sign, the ETA, the destination, and so forth, comes at much longer intervals. And so often when you're receiving VHF-based AIS, you'll see the MMSI first, and then over a period of 5 minutes or something later, what'll happen is you will then see the name of the boat and all of the static data that is associated with that. Now, once Aquamap sees that, it records that. And so when it sees that MMSI again, it'll go ahead and display that static data. Now, when receiving AIS over the horizon, you instantly get all the static metadata at the same time. So when a target comes in from over the horizon, you will have their vessel name, their MMSI, and other information about the static information about that vessel right away.
Are there any settings that need to be enabled to do that? I do not believe I have seen any vessel names on any of the MMSI targets. We are in the Bahamas, so I'm not sure if that would make a difference.
No, there is nothing that you have special to enable. Should simply be received by the app itself. So the only possibility that there is some data missing from your AIS to the app, because as you see, when we receive the data, we display it. As Luis said, there could be some timing before we accumulate all the info, because name and things like these are not primary sent by the AIS, so their cycle is much slower. But at the end, when we receive, we store in our database, we keep it there until you kill the app and you start again. And this point, we have to re-download the information. So I really don't know exactly what to say to you if you never see the names.
I don't believe I have. I will obviously now be looking for it. I just assumed that I shouldn't be getting it.
Okay, anyway, if you
what
have any kind of problem, you can contact our support and we can help you on the specific issue that you can have.
Yeah, one thing that you should do is if you click on the AIS on the top left-hand corner, on the left-hand corner where it says AIS, if you just click on that button, it'll give you a list of all the AIS targets, and you can actually sort them by distance. Go ahead and do that, Claudio, on the left hand where it says AIS. If you click on that, it'll show you the target list exactly, and then you can see the names and so forth, and you can sort them. And so what I would do if I were you is I would go ahead and go there and see if you see any with the names. You should see at least some with the names. Now, one thing about Class B AIS transmits with very, very low power, and it also deals with congestion. And so it backs off if there's a lot of congestion. And it could be that in the Bahamas, there's so much congestion because there's so much AIS that basically it prioritizes the position information and it deprioritizes static information just to keep the congestion down in the airwaves.
Thank you for the pointer of pressing the AIS button. Did not realize that was a button. I have now done that. I see my own boat listed as a name, but I see 5 other targets that all do not show a name. So I do not have names for anything else, but I'll keep monitoring and report back with support. Thank you.
Is there a chance, Pietro, if you could put in the chat the number and who to contact for support,
Yeah, sure.
etc. Because someone asked who they reach out to for the recording of this. That will be on. It's available. Will be available on SSCA YouTube channel, and we will send out copies to everyone who requests from office@ssca.org, or reach out to me, president@ssca.org, and we'll send you a copy of the video.
We put on the slide, you can see the support@aquamap.app. That is the mail that you can write, and we answer normally in 1 day. Okay, let me see. I see some more questions.
Can I interrupt for 1 second for the Bahamas caller? You shouldn't be seeing yourself on that AIS list, and I suspect what you need to do is to go to the My Boat data entry page and scroll down to where there's an AIS MMSI field, in which you should fill your MMSI number, at which point you will no longer be broadcasting to yourself.
I'm showing on the screen. So you can, in the My Bot, you can set all the info, other than selecting the type of icon and color and size and so on, you can add all the information for the draft 8 and AIS MMSI. So these information are used by the app to remove the target of yourself, to calculate bridges that can be dangerous along the route and things like this. Sorry, I see that there is some more question. There is, how do I use on 2 different devices? Okay, you can use, well, obviously you can use the same purchase on 2 different devices without needing to purchase it again. The mechanism is done through our Jack account. So this is our own account system. If you simply log in your account, this is Ferri Pietro account, you are whatever you purchase is shared up to 5 devices. So if you purchase on iOS and then you log in on Android or on iPad or any other device, you can share your purchase through them quite simply. I'm not. I supposed to have answered to all the questions. Not sure if there is any other. We have not said anything about prices. I don't know if any of you can be interested. Anyway, 1 year subscription for the whole US and Canada cost $14.99. And then if you want to access the extra functionality that we call Master, there is another $14.99 subscription. This subscription covers the whole world, so you will have marine forecast everywhere in the world. Route Explorer, everything is. This is a functionality subscription to add additional feature to your app. Not sure, Johan.
I don't know, Johan, if you want to add something or if there is something to discuss.
Yeah, have we answered all the questions? We're coming down. I see Jason Spitz has a comment on to clarify on Data Hub and whatnot. And I see active internet connection for. Do you see the other comments from Rick and whatnot on the over the horizon?
Luis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so let me just see if I can figure out how to actually see the questions. Okay. Yeah, so for over the horizon AIS, to use over the horizon AIS, I mean, that's a service that is offered by PredictWind. So basically PredictWind collects all the AIS from all over the world. Of course, they buy the data from an aggregator, and then they make that available to their subscribers. So to get over the horizon AIS through a mechanism that I know, the one that I described, you basically need to be a PredictWind subscriber, and you also have to have a data hub. The data hub is the thing that interfaces the internet to your NMEA 2000 network.
Sure.
And so with your account, basically what it'll do is it'll use the GPS from your NMEA 2000 network to then make a request to the back-end servers that predict wind for the AIS targets that are in your vicinity, and then downloads those targets over an internet connection, whether that be Starlink or Iridium Go or Iridium Go exec or an LTE connection or whatever you happen to have on your vessel. And then it'll turn around and turn those into NMEA 2000 AIS sentences and NMEA 183 sentences and push them onto your network for display on any device that is capable of displaying AIS.
I apologize, Louis, for adding in over the horizon AIS, because that's outside of the bounds of Aqua,
Oh.
but it's a nice tool.
Okay, there is one more question from Galili that asks how to connect Raymarine AIS to Aquamap. Sorry, I don't know in detail how Raymarine 650 works. What I know is that if this system has a Wi-Fi connection, then you should connect Aquamap to it using a Wi-Fi connection. So define a connection and then enter manually, which is the IP address and port number to be used to connect to it. If it does not have a Wi-Fi inside, then you need to add to your network a Wi-Fi bridge. There are many available. One is the data hub from Louis. Here you have many other bridges for different companies. And then you have to connect our app with this bridge. Substantially, the bridge take the information from your AIS and send it through Wi-Fi to Aquamap.
And so that's what you're showing to the side. Was that was or not? You were showing the app on the side where you connect for AIS.
Sorry?
You had the app up and you were showing the side. Yeah. So here you have. You're showing all the AIS characters. Yeah.
This is the list of bridges that we support. Okay. But even if there are other configurations, you can always enter manually the information, just put in the IP address of the device and port number. In this way, you connect the app to any device sending NMEA information. Could be just a GPS, could be a depth sounder, could be a complex system, whatever it is. We receive the string and we convert and import in the app, giving you here the option to select which one you want to enable. You can open how many connections you want in Aquamap and select the data that you want to display and use inside.
And we have is it Odid Galini? He asked the Raymarine 650 AIS question. Yeah, and you've answered that.
Yeah.
They almost have to look to see if it's connected somehow by Wi-Fi or a bridge, and then just configure Aqua maps for that, correct?
Correct. I mean, I don't know if the system already have inside a Wi-Fi, so or not. If not, is needed to connect the device to a Wi-Fi bridge. Otherwise, the device is already in the Wi-Fi. You have just to find which is his IP address and connect it to Aquamap.
Yeah, I think, let me just add that I believe, and Claudia, you can correct me, Aquamaps uses NMEA 183. So the device that you're connecting to has to be able to display the information or produce the information in NMEA 183. And some instruments will allow you to Wi-Fi connect, but still not generate NMEA 183. So the key factor there is that the device that you connect to be able to convert your instrumentation to NMEA 183 to display over Wi-Fi, so Aquamaps can use it.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
And we have one anonymous attendee who typed in, You should double the price given the value of Aqua Maps, particularly given the active continuous improvements made by Aqua Maps. I'm a cheap sailor, so I'm shocked that I'm writing this. Thank you for a great product.
Well, this is a very good suggestion. We will try to follow as much as possible. Well, probably, honestly, we are thinking to increase a little bit our prices. I'm honest with you. Maybe there will be some news in the next weeks. Not big increases because we think that I mean, this type of information should be used as much as possible. And even if some people write that we are not costly, anyway, there is still a lot of people that pay attention to the dollar. So we do our best to be cheap.
I want to thank you for this presentation. I'm sorry I got sidetracked on the over the horizon AIS, but getting the AIS traffic around your boat is really critical, and you really help with your app on that, so you can see the boats around you. I want to thank you for that. Does anyone have any more questions? We're coming up on an hour.
I mean, I have more comments if you have a few minutes. I mean, of course I love Aqua Maps, and there's all these features that I really would like to share with people. And if you've got a few minutes, I'd like to talk about the Autopilot integration. That's my next second favorite feature of the app.
Pietro, do you want Louis to go over? I can
Yeah,
the time.
no problem for us.
Okay,
You
go
can
ahead,
If there
Louis.
are no other questions, I mean, it could be an interesting things to be seen.
Okay, and we do have a question on subscription models, so be thinking about that when he's talking about the Autopilot. And I'll drop if you want to drop your share. Louis, do you need the screen?
Yep, here.
No, I don't. I
You don't?
don't need a screen. No,
Okay.
I don't need a screen. I'm just going to talk. Yeah. So the Autopilot feature is kind of like my next favorite feature. And so I'll just have to describe my boat. First of all, I'm on a Pilot House trawler. And last year I spent $14,000 upgrading my Simrad MFDs. I've got two 16-inch MFDs. And so you would think that after spending all that kind of money, I would do all my passage planning and my routing on the MFDs. But I had to tell you that my old ancient iPad is 1,000 times faster at drawing routes and doing planning with Aqua Maps than my MFDs. And then, of course, you've got the route planner as well. And so creating routes on your iPad is 10,000 times faster than doing it on your $14,000 Simrad MFDs. And so I use my iPad to drive my boat. I just sit there in bed at night. I create my route. I get up in the morning. I turn on the route. And voila, the boat just follows the route using my mobile devices. And so I've got an Android phone. I got an iPhone 10, which is an ancient iPhone that I use for driving the boat. And so I use those fancy displays to look at the charts and kind of keep things going when I'm running, radar displays and so forth. But the Autopilot functionality is really super easy to use and fantastic. It's just so fast to create the routes and have them drive your boats. It's just really, really nice. So I just thought I would just throw that in there because, again, that's my second favorite feature these days for the app.
Okay, so now I can answer the question about the subscription model. Our subscription model is relatively simple. For substantially all the country in the world, sorry. For a lot of country in the world, we have a subscription for the country itself. And then substantially, well, here already is active. And the subscription is a 1-year subscription for the country. So also US, we have the US country, and we also have the US and Canada is a combined product that gives two countries in one. And the subscription is a 1-year subscription that is auto-renewable. So if you don't like it anymore, you have to stop the subscription. For each subscription, you have a 14-day free trial. So you start the subscription, And then for 14 days, you can change your mind and delete the subscription without paying anything. And then we have a subscription for additional features. So when you purchase an area in a country, you can access mostly of the functionality, from the ankle alarm to the Arctic Captain, water guide, tide and currents, a lot of things. And then if you want to access this more advanced functionality, there is an additional subscription to be purchased that enable all these additional set of functionalities. So trying to summarizing, you normally should have one subscription for the cartography, and then one subscription if you want for the complete featuring of the app. Any other question?
We have Rick Sanders saying, I really prefer the endless forever updates.
Yeah, in US and Canada, we have a special purchase that is quite more costly than the subscription, but that give you updates forever. So when you purchase this subscription, you will get updates for our cartography forever. Okay.
Any more
Thanks.
questions?
I just want to add something on the subscription. So we have partnered up with ICW Free Docs. They have kind of bundles for you if you're interested. It could be Bahamas, USA and Canada forever, and 2 years of masters. Also with other organizations we've partnered, and if you're a member, you get access to bundles. I'm just adding on it just in case someone's interested in buying more than one subscription. It could be quite useful to have a look.
Of course, we also have the same discount possibility for SSCA.
Correct. We have a discount with,
Yeah.
if you're an SSCA member with a valid SSCA member number, you can get the same discount as the other groups, which is, what is it, 25%? 20%?
Yes, correct.
25%.
Yeah, the only difference is that this is for bundles, so you cannot purchase single small things. You normally get a bundle putting together an area like Bahamas and US and things like this. But yeah, it is 25% discount, correct. Okay, so it's quite late for us. So if there is no additional question, I would thanks everyone for participating to this webinar. And if there is still question, need of support, write to us, and we will answer to you as soon as possible.
Thank you very much, and we're pretty much on time. It's 8:03 p.m. Thank you, Renata. Thank you, Pietro. We still have Bernice here, and Louis, thank you for chiming in. Bob Eder, Steve Immerman, thank you for your questions, and we will say goodnight. And appreciate the time that you've taken, and I know it's late.